The revenge is not best served cold, but frozen, posted by Lamina Ninja. Some background story first. My dad's ancestors came to Serbia from Bohemia 150 years ago. Since then, they never had a daughter, only sons. My great-great-grandfather had 5 sons, 0 daughters. My great-grandfather had 7 sons, 0 daughters. My grandfather had 3 sons, 0 daughters. So when my dad married my mom and when my mom was pregnant with me, he prayed that I would be a girl. He prayed that he could break the curse and have a daughter. More background story. In Serbia and in several other neighboring countries, there are still primitive people who think that a daughter is less worthy than a son. A daughter won't perpetuate her father's surname, blah, blah, blah. These primitive people would often say to the father of a girl that he's not capable of making a boy, that he's not a man enough for that, blah, blah, blah. Now to the story. In April 1979, my mom gave birth to me, and my dad was ecstatic, the happiest man alive. He fathered a girl, yeah. He sold his car to throw a huge party and celebrate my birth. Everybody from the town was invited, literally. A friend of my dad's, they grew up together and peed in the same sand, let's call him Ron, also came to the party. At the time, he wasn't married and didn't have any kids. After a glass or two of spirits, in front of 50 guests, colleagues, neighbors, relatives, he said loudly to my dad, "Well, you weren't lucky. I knew all along that you don't have the manhood to make a boy. We," his surname, "for instance, we only make sons, as real men do. You are bleep, who only make girls. Too bad for your girl, because in 16 or 18 years from now, she'll be a, yeah." My dad was furious, and he's not a kind of man to get angry easily. However, my mom managed to calm him down. She whispered to him, just don't. Wait, trust me. Karma will do it much better than you." So my father said nothing and somehow controlled himself. The guests laughed for a few minutes and changed the subject eventually. 6 months later, Ron got married. His wife was already pregnant with their first child. In April of 1980, 1 year after my birth, Ron got his first daughter. This time, he threw a party and my parents were invited. The guests were pretty much the same, as the two of them grew up together, worked together, and had the same circle of acquaintances. Everybody was expecting a revenge for the stupid thing Ron said a year before. It was the perfect opportunity, but my mom and dad said nothing. They congratulated the proud parents, had a great time, and went home. Nothing happened. People were a bit disappointed as they really expected a juicy revenge. 3 years later, in 1983, Ron got his second daughter. Again, a party was thrown and my parents came to congratulate the birth of the newborn daughter. During the party, in front of all the guests, my mom stood up to make a toast. At the end, she turned to Ron and told him, "Don't you think that my husband made enough children to your wife? Don't you think that it's about time that you make your wife a child, a boy in your surname, exclusively made?" To this day, the entire town remembers and retells this event. It's a kind of legend here. For 2 or 3 years, Ron refused to talk to my parents, but eventually he realized that he had been a huge jerk and that revenge was well deserved. Way to go, Mom. That is what you need. I'm glad Ron came around because, man, that is not the right outlook to have. Seriously. Way to go, OP's mom.